Good evening and welcome. City Council is now in session. Please be advised that Councilmember Rector will not be in attendance this evening and has been excused. Please stand for the invocation by Councilmember Butler Barlow, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. The calendar today calls us to action, to March 4th, at a time when the news makes us want to just stay home. We pray for courage to stand up and face challenges as best we can. We pray where hearts are fearful and constricted, there will be courage and hope. Where anxiety is infectious and widening, there will be peace and reassurance. Where impossibilities close every door and window, there will be imagination and resistance. Where distrust twists our thinking, there will be healing and illumination. Guide our steps as we march forth, focus our decision-making, grant us wisdom and peace. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Freedom of Information Act certification is required at this time. Madam Clerk, please present the resolution for consideration.
A resolution certifying the closed meeting of March the 4th, 2026 pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-37112 is presented for council's consideration at this time. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Suffolk hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the City Council of the City of Suffolk in the closed meeting.
Council, a motion would be in order. Councilmember Williams.
So moved.
Got a motion for approval from Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Bennett.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Bennett. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We'll now move to approval of the minutes from the November 19th, 2025 work session. And a motion would be in order. Councilmember Williams.
Move for approval.
Got a motion for approval from Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Butler Barlow. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, we do have two special presentations this evening. Our first is a Great Suffolk Cleanup 2026, which will be followed by a State of Agriculture 2026 update and proclamation in recognition of National Agricultural Month. Mr. Manager, please provide an overview.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, this evening, Mr. Daniel McDonald, the Community Outreach Coordinator in Public Works, is going to provide you with an overview on the March 27th and 28th Great Suffolk Cleanup. Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council, City Manager. I appreciate you having me here tonight. The Suffolk Clean Community Commission and Keep Suffolk Beautiful are very excited to announce the 2026 Great Suffolk Cleanup set to take place on March 27th and March 28th. This citywide initiative is one of the largest cleanup efforts in the state, with over 1,000 volunteers participating annually at more than 100 different cleanup locations. Since 2023, when the city manager authorized staff participation, more than 500 city employees representing all departments have joined the efforts annually. And here is a short video showing you just how easy it is to get involved.
Hi, I'm Allie Hobgood, Chair of the Suffolk Clean Community Commission, and I want to invite you to join one of Suffolk's most impactful community events, the Great Suffolk Cleanup. Every year, this citywide effort brings neighbors together to care for our streets, parks, and public spaces. Last year, over 2,000 volunteers collected more than 72,000 pounds of litter and tires. A powerful reminder of what we can accomplish when we work together. Getting involved is super simple. Gather your friends, your family, or your colleagues, pick a spot that matters to you, and register online at suffolkva.us/cleanup. The Great Suffolk Cleanup is officially March 27th and 28th, but I know we're all very busy, and if those dates don't work for you, feel free to choose a day that fits your schedule. Once you're registered, Suffolk Public Works will provide everything you need: grabbers, gloves, safety vests, and bags. And they'll even take care of trash pickup when you're done. Whether you're a resident, a business, church, or a civic group, your participation makes a real difference. Join us. Be part of the solution. Let's keep Suffolk beautiful together.
Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, your second special presentation will celebrate this March the National Agricultural Month. Joining us this evening to accept the proclamation is the Suffolk Agricultural Advisory Committee. Following the proclamation, Julia Hillegas will provide some overview as it relates to the agricultural program in the city of Suffolk.
Madam Clerk, please present the proclamation.
Whereas March ushers in a national celebration of agriculture in the United States, and whereas Suffolk is home to over 300 farms producing some of the world's best food and fiber, with over 40,000 acres in agriculture, timber, horticulture, and livestock operations, and contributing more than $60 million to the Suffolk economy each year. And whereas Suffolk has 25 registered century farms, which have been under cultivation by multiple generations spanning more than 100 consecutive years. And whereas agriculture promotes Suffolk's quality of life by providing access to fresh, locally sourced food, preserving open space, protecting water quality, and enhancing communities through farmers markets, agritourism, and other connected activities. And whereas we celebrate the contributions of all of the farmers, farm workers, fishers, foresters, and other agriculture-related industries who do so much to make our nation strong, fuel our economy, and steward our lands. Now therefore I, Michael D. Duman, Mayor of the City of Suffolk, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as National Agriculture Month in Suffolk, and call upon all residents to recognize and appreciate the bounty and vitality provided by the farming industry in the Commonwealth and the City of Suffolk. In witness whereof, I've hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Suffolk to be affixed this 4th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2026.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to present the 2026 State of Agriculture for the City of Suffolk. Agriculture remains one of Suffolk's most foundational industries. It shapes our landscape, defines our rural character, supports local families, and generates measurable economic value. This presentation will walk through current data, trends, economic impact, community engagement efforts, and strategic priorities that position agriculture as both a heritage asset and a forward-looking economic driver. To begin with, let's look at the numbers. We have 412 total agricultural producers operating 345 farms and related operations. The average age of our producers in Suffolk is just over 60 years old. These numbers demonstrate both depth and experience within our farming community. However, the average age also signals the importance of succession planning, land transition strategies, and supporting the next generation of producers. Maintaining agricultural continuity requires intentional policy, business support, and farmland protection efforts. Our producer demographics provide additional insight. We have 140 female producers, which I was not aware of, 272 male producers. Only 162 individuals list their primary occupation as farming, so they also have another day job, so to speak. 57 of producers are self-reported as current or former members of the military. This highlights agriculture as an inclusive industry and an important economic pathway for veterans and small business owners. Suffolk continues to rank in the top 10 statewide for multiple crop categories. This is significant. In a state with diverse agricultural regions, Suffolk remains a major production leader. This ranking affirms that agriculture is not simply present here, it is productive and competitive. Looking at actual production numbers, this diversity provides economic resilience. When one commodity faces market volatility, others may be able to offset that risk. It also positions Suffolk as a strong contributor to Virginia's overall agricultural supply. These production volumes translate into more than 35 million in direct cash sales. Corn and soybeans represent the largest contributors by dollar value, followed by peanuts and other commodities. It's important to note, however, that this figure reflects farm gate value only. It does not account for multiplier effects, including processing, transportation, equipment sales, agritourism, or value-added enterprises. The broader agricultural ecosystem generates significantly larger economic footprints. Statewide, Virginia agriculture generates more than $4.8 billion in cash receipts annually. Oh, wrong button, there we go. However, the number of farms nationally continues to decline, with operation consolidating or a change in land use. Likewise, Virginia has also seen reductions in total farm counts over the past 20 years. Most importantly, in Suffolk, loss over the past 2 decades, Suffolk has experienced a 19.5% reduction in active farmland, or nearly 10,000 acres. That acreage represents not only land, but long-term production capacity, economic opportunity, and environmental stewardship. Balancing growth with farmland preservation is not simply a planning issue, it is an economic development issue. Education plays a key role in agricultural sustainability. One way to reach our residents and children is through our volunteer master gardeners, coordinated by Virginia Cooperative Extension. In 2025, master gardeners contributed 295 volunteer hours, reaching over 1,600 children. These efforts build agricultural literacy and introduce youth to career pathways in farming, forestry, environmental science, and agribusiness. Investing in education today supports workforce development tomorrow. In 2025, our focus centered on visibility, engagement, and strategic partnerships. We celebrated National Agriculture Month with citywide outreach and formal recognition, just as we are here to do today. The Agriculture Advisory Committee hosted a roundtable with Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry Matt Lohr, strengthening our state-level collaboration. We also delivered a farming, forestry, and finance seminar with the Secretary's office to provide producers with practical tools for navigating economic pressures. Our successful agritourism event drew over 500 participants, connecting residents directly to working farms and expanding tourism and small business exposure. Unfortunately, we just found out that we were not selected as an award winner for the grant application from the Virginia Horse Industry Board. So we will make do on a shoestring budget this year, I guess. This past fall, we conducted a farm safety and harvest campaign, distributed agricultural inserts through more than 1,000 land use mailers, and completed numerous business retention and expansion visits, ensuring producers have a direct line to local support. We created a logo that we are launching this month, and you have some gifts there at your place to help raise the awareness of importance of agriculture in Suffolk. We are actively assisting the Booker T K-5 STEM program, making agriculture a focus of their curriculum, and we provide professional development opportunities for teachers with ag in the classroom workshops and materials. Each of these efforts strengthens both economic resilience and community connections. Looking forward, our priorities include establishing a farmland preservation framework recommendation for your consideration, expanding neighborhood farmers market access, launching an Excellence in Agriculture Awards program, increasing presence at community and area events, expanding agritourism programming. The focus is clear: create value-added products to improve profitability and elevate Suffolk's agricultural economy. Agriculture remains one of Suffolk's largest land uses and a multi-million-dollar economic engine. It preserves open space, supports local families, contributes to food security, and strengthens our tax base. With intentional strategy, partnership, and planning tools, Suffolk can continue to grow while ensuring agriculture remains productive, profitable, and sustainable for future generations to come. Any questions? I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to, I'm at a loss for words. I just want to express my appreciation for the fact that Suffolk is recognizing National Agriculture Month. I see one stepping out, but I was going to get the members of the Ag Advisory Committee that are here to just raise your hand if you can. Good representation. I want to publicly thank all of you for your service. We've made good strides. We have more to do, and I look forward to continuing to work with you all. And special thanks to Julia and her presentation, and I appreciate the figures. And I'm gonna ask if I may do this in my allotted time here. Would it be okay if I got the Vice President of the Ag Committee to come up and read an editorial from the Suffolk News Herald? It's about 3 minutes. Everybody okay with that?
All right with you? Sounds okay.
Okay. Brian?
Oh, man. All right. Ms. Ball, thank you very much. Council members, I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you tonight. My name is Brian Harris. I'm the Vice Chair of the Ag Committee. Also own Liberty Lane Farm right down the way here. I'm one of those veteran farmers. This is an article that appeared in today's Suffolk Herald. I think it came out. It didn't have the actual author, but I believe it was a collaboration between Ed and Lindsay and the editorial staff. Agriculture is the backbone we can't afford to lose. Hold on just a second. I'm getting old. All right, March is National Agriculture Month, a time when it is easy to celebrate farming with platitudes about heritage and tradition. But in a region like Tidewater, farmland, waterways, and development pressures collide daily. This month should serve as something more urgent, a reminder that agriculture is not just part of our past, it's a critical piece of our economic future. Agriculture is the largest private industry in Virginia, as we just heard, generating more than $82 billion annually and supporting more than 380,000 jobs across the state. When you include forestry in that number jumps to $105 billion and just over half a million people in that workforce. That's not a niche sector, that's a cornerstone. Tidewater agriculture is built on staples like peanuts, cotton, tobacco, soybeans, and corn. The area also supports livestock and forestry. That diversity, it matters. It spreads economic risk, supports supply chains, and connects rural land directly to urban markets across Hampton Roads. It also quietly fuels other industries. Every farm supports a network: equipment dealers, processing facilities, trucking, exports, restaurants, and local retailers. State data shows that every job in agriculture supports roughly 1.7 jobs in the local economy. And that multiplier, it's often overlooked in public debate, especially when farmland is viewed primarily as future housing or commercial development. And that reality is pressing really hard on our region. Rapid population growth and development along key corridors, including areas like Suffolk and Isle of Wight County, continue to convert agricultural land into subdivisions and commercial sites. While growth is necessary, it comes with trade-offs that are not always fully measured. Without intentional planning, we risk trading long-term economic stability for short-term expansion, a decision that cannot be easily reversed once that land is gone. Agriculture provides more than direct economic output. It contributes to flood mitigation, water quality, and land conservation, all issues that are particularly relevant in the coastal region, increasingly vulnerable to flooding and environmental stress. Losing farmland doesn't just impact farmers, it affects regional resilience. There's also food security, a component that has come into sharper focus in recent years. Tidewater's farms produce grains, vegetables, and meat, and they all play a role ensuring that food doesn't have to travel thousands of miles to make it to local tables. Despite its economic weight, agriculture often finds itself competing for attention and funding against more visible industries like technology, tourism, and even development. That's a mistake. If anything, agriculture is the one of few industries that actually touches all the others. It feeds peoples, supports jobs, anchors rural communities, and stabilizes land use in ways that unchecked development cannot. Supporting agriculture doesn't mean resisting growth, it simply means planning wisely. It means preserving productive farmland, investing in agribusiness and value-added processing, ensuring that local farmers have the infrastructure and policy support needed to maintain that competitive edge. It also means reorganizing agriculture as part of the local economy, not just land waiting to be developed. National Agriculture Month should not be a symbol or symbolic nod. It should be a call to action, because once those fields are gone, they're not coming back, and neither is the economic engine those fields quietly power every single day. And I appreciate it, Ms. Barlow. Thanks for the opportunity. And sir, council, thank you for having us before you today and in time as well.
Right. At this time, we will consider the removal of items from the consent agenda and adoption of the entire agenda as presented. Removal of any item from the consent agenda would only be necessary if any member of City Council wishes to vote on a specific item separately, and a motion would be required. And a motion would be in order at this time. What is the pleasure of council? Councilmember Johnson.
Move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Got a motion for approval from Councilman Johnson, Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Second. Second
From Councilmember Butler Barlow. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
I know we do not have any agenda speakers, so we will move to presentation of the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please present the items for consideration.
Item number 7, an ordinance to accept and appropriate additional funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Aviation for the Master Plan Update Project at the Suffolk Executive Airport. Item number 8, an ordinance to accept and appropriate funds from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Aviation for the Suffolk Executive Airport. Item number 9, an ordinance to accept and appropriate funds from the Virginia Office of Emergency Medical Services Rescue Squad Assistance Fund for the Suffolk Department of Fire and Rescue. Item number 10, an ordinance to accept and appropriate funds from the Suffolk Foundation for the initial design phase of the Long Acre Park project. Item number 11, an ordinance to accept and appropriate program income resulting from the repayment of certain loans associated with the City of Suffolk Home Rehabilitation Program. Item number 12, an ordinance to amend Section 2-463 of the Code of the City of Suffolk to add additional members to the Education Standing Committee. And item number 13, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a regional partnership memorandum of understanding between the City of Suffolk, Isle of Wight County, and Southampton County for the Western Tidewater Recovery Court Program and the Behavioral Health Docket.
Madam Clerk, Mr. Manager, will you please provide an overview?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, consent item number 7. The city has received $1,600 in additional funding from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Aviation in support of the Suffolk Executive Airport Master Plan Update. Adoption of the ordinance will increase the planned revenues and expenditures of the capital fund balance budget by $1,600 and does not require any additional local funds. Consent item number 8, the city has received $22,500 in funding from the Commonwealth of Virginia Department of Aviation in support of the Suffolk Executive Airport for fiscal year 25-26. This will be used to update the stormwater pollution prevention, spill prevention, control, and countermeasure plan. Adoption of the ordinance will increase the planned revenues and expenditures of the Aviation Facilities Fund by $22,500. Requires a $2,500 local match, which is available in the 25-26 Aviation Facilities Fund budget. Consent item number 9, the city has received $149,645.35 from the Virginia Office of Emergency Medical Services Rescue Squad Assistance Fund in support of the Suffolk Department of Fire and Rescue to purchase 5 Stryker LifePak 35 cardiac monitor defibrillators. Adoption of the ordinance will increase the planned revenues and expenditures of the consolidated fund by $149,645.35, which requires a local cash match of $149,645.35, which is provided in the 25-26 consolidated grant funds budget. Consent item number 10, the city has received $100,000 in funding from the Suffolk Foundation for the initial design phase of Long Acre Park. The project is planned for a new 65-acre park on the Glasscock property in Chuckatuck, located on Kings Highway. Adoption of the ordinance will increase the planned revenues and expenditures of the capital funds budget by $100,000 and requires a local match of $100,000, which is available for transfer from the Parks and Rec capital maintenance account. Consent item number 11 for council's consideration is an ordinance to accept and appropriate $3,100 in Suffolk Home Investment Partnership Program funds repaid to the city by the city of Franklin. Adoption of the ordinance will increase the planned revenues and expenditures of the consolidated grant funds budget by $3,100 and does not require a local fund match. Consent item number 12 is an amendment to the Education Standing Committee, adding 1 additional member to the school board as well as 1 additional member for City Council for the Education Standing Committee. Consent item number 13 for council's consideration is an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a regional partnership memorandum of understanding between the city of Suffolk, Isle of Wight County, Southampton County for participation in a Western Tidewater Recovery Court program and a behavioral health docket. The city will serve as the fiscal agent for the project and receive and manage funding from these localities as well as outside sources.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. If there are no questions about the items, a motion would be in order to approve the consent agenda as presented. What is your pleasure? Councilmember Butler Barlow.
So moved.
A motion for approval from Councilmember Butler Barlow. Councilmember Johnson.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Johnson. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none. Council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
Motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We have no public hearings, ordinances, or resolutions. We do have a staff report from the Suffolk Police Department referencing their 2025 year in review. Mr. Manager, please provide an overview.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, Police Chief Bowie is going to walk you through the 2025 year in review from the Suffolk Police Department. Good evening, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, city manager, city staff, city department heads, it's my honor to stand here today as the Chief of Police for the Suffolk Police Department to present you with a 2025 overview of what took place throughout the year. Before I do that, I like to say one thing, is I'm going to go over crime statistics And there's people out there in our city that were victims of crime throughout the year. And I can stand up here all day long and say how crime rates are down and they're going really well. But if you're a victim of a crime, you don't see it that way. So I just want them to know that we're working very hard, if they're victims of a crime, to find their offenders and bring them to justice. And I want them to know that we're going to work really hard for them to see that that is done. Saying that, I'll get started. Overall, for 2025, a 17% decrease in Part 1 crimes in 2025. Homicide decreased 55% from 11 homicides in 2024 to 5 in 2025, with an 83% solve rate to date. Means 83% of those homicides that were committed, we solved. And the one that, for this year, that is not solved is almost there. Larceny and vehicle theft show significant decreases of 20% each, and property crime is the most common crime in Suffolk, with larceny making up nearly 71% of our Part 1 crimes. Violent crimes make up 18% of our Part 1 crimes, and property crimes altogether make up 82% of our Part 1 crimes. Homicides down 55% from 2024, rape down 7%, robbery was up 5%, aggravated assault up 2%, burglary was down 10%, larceny 21% down, vehicle theft down 21%, and arson down 55%, for a total decrease in crimes for 2025 from 2024 at 17%. And I say that, and just, and I've said it before, is that we work in a growing city. Our city is growing very rapidly. And for the men and women of our police department to have a reduction in crime at 17% in a growing city is something worth saying. It's just a heck of a job for them all the way around, with our police department and men and women working extremely hard, and the community working with us to report crimes and report things that they see. That's why we can keep this down. In the past 3 years, our crime rate has reduced 26%. We'll go over Operations Command. That's our Precinct 1, Precinct 2, and our Special Operations Unit. That's total, and that's including supervisors, that consists of 104 officers. They answered 141,868 calls for service, issued 6,400 citations, made over 3,400 arrests, which resulted in over 6,000 charges. The zones that we received the most calls for services is what you would expect in both Precinct 1 and Precinct 2, is the most populated areas. You know, where the most people are, that's where we're going to answer the most calls for service, because there's just more people in that general area. So there's not one thing that jumps out at us and says it's this way or that way. It's just the fact that we're putting a lot of people in a smaller place, and things happen when you do that. Continuing with our Operations Command, their training, they did active threat training and mass casualty training, multi-jurisdictional training for mobile field force. I don't know if y'all been by that way lately, but the digital signboard out at Sector 2, where we can put messages out there. The message can be anything from an emergency message, or it can be as simple as wishing the chief a happy birthday. I like that one the best. The community policing events that they attend, played basketball with teens, and I would love to stand up here and say that we put it to those teens, but I would be lying that them teens put a hurting on us. We played and probably what they didn't realize that they hurt us that day, but hurt us for many days to come. Coffee with a Cop, one of my favorites. The Toys for Tots event that we do every year. The police department, and I know the fire department and sheriff's department, collect thousands and thousands of toys for Tots every year. And they do that on their time. You know, they're not paid to go out there. They show up on their time on a Saturday, and we stand in front of the Walmarts, and we harass every person that walks in that store and that walks out to try so they can bring a toy out, and that is hugely successful. Math and music event. We did something not too long. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Y'all seen that? We're not smarter than a fifth grader. We started out saying, hey, give them a break. We'll take it easy on the kids. And about 3 questions in, we're like, all right, come on, we got to tighten up, you know. And we learned that we are not smarter than a fifth grader for sure. Neighborhood watch implementation for the Sleepy Lake community, and much, much more. Mental health call responses. The Suffolk Police Department officers responded to over 1,400 mental health related calls in 2025. On average, officers are responding to 121 mental health related calls each month, which equates to about 4 a day. The mental health calls that officers respond to are the main thing that drains the personnel in the police department. They can be with a person for as much as 72 hours at a time, and they can be 3 or 4 there at one time, taking 3, 4, sometimes 5 officers to sit with that individual. So I say that as we work hard to try to reduce police presence in a mental health situation, it's still one of those things that we do a lot of. It's getting better through the Marcus Alert and other things that we're doing, but it still it's something that police officers deal with on a daily basis. Our investigations command, that's our criminal investigations, special investigations, crime scene investigations. Total including personnel with supervisors is 40 officers and 10 professional staff. The Criminal Investigations Division executed nearly 200 search warrants in 2025. Extensive investigations completed successfully are including we had an individual going around damaging our flock cameras, going through and just vandalizing our flock cameras, and we were able to locate that individual and bring that to some conclusion. And of all things that help catch you when you're damaging the flock cameras is a camera. They've worked a homicide case, a multi-jurisdictional homicide case, which are still working, so we can't say much about it, but it's a multi-jurisdictional case, and our detectives have worked very hard on it, and they're going to bring that to a positive resolution as far as bringing these offenders to justice. We had a shooting case in the Cedar Hill Cemetery where landscaping personnel were shot at, and we were able to make arrests in that particular case and bring it to some resolution. I said earlier, 5 of 6 homicide cases are solved, with the final case being the most recent case that we're still actively working. Our Special Investigations Division, which is our, for lack of a better term, it's our Narcotics Division, made over 200 controlled purchases, 485 charges secured or pending, 150 individual persons charged, 55 firearms seized, 1.5 kilos of cocaine seized, 5 ounces of heroin / fentanyl, and we all read about that every day, how dangerous that is, seized, and 32 pounds of marijuana seized by those units. Our crime scene investigations, they're kind of the unsung heroes in a lot of things that goes on. They're the ones that we see on TV that come in and find the follicle of hair and a piece of clothing, and they solve the crime in an hour. It takes our guys a little longer than that, but they do pretty well. 235 scenes processed, 2,800 pieces of evidence collected, 120 items processed, 50 Nibbins hits, which Nibbins is the fingerprint. When you find your fingerprint, you run it through a database, and we've had 50 hits there, 20 DNA hits, and we do in-house testing of all firearms collected. We used to have to send them off to get it done, but because of the of grants and the generosity of our council, that we no longer have to do that anymore. We're currently pursuing more grants to increase our DNA capabilities. In our professional services unit, our intel units, 150 bulletins put out, ABC's most wanted posters created, 30 ABC bulletins, 574 interviews transcribed. I don't know if you, or we have two ladies that sit into a room and wear headsets and listen to interviews that were done audibly, and they transcribe them on paper. They do one heck of it. I couldn't even come close to doing what they do. They're another one of the unsung heroes that do a lot of the work and get very little credit for what they do. 887 case files processed. This is investigations again. Pluto. I don't know if some of y'all have met our K9 Pluto. He's completed his therapy certification and his comfort dog. He's done all that training. We got him from a family that was leaving town that couldn't take him with them. So he was a donation to us in the police department, and we made him a certified therapy dog, and we utilize him when we have to do highly sensitive interviews with children or other victims of crime. Sometimes we bring the dog in to sit, with the investigator and with the person. And as I know, the mayor knows that dogs are incredible animals, and they just bring that peace with them. And this Pluto does just that. I don't want to say he don't bite because he's got teeth, but he's not that kind of dog. He is a comfort dog. That's what he does for us. And we use it not only for what I mentioned, but if a police officer's having a bad day, you bring the dog in and spend some time with the dog, and you always feel better. K9 Sky, he's completed his narcotics detection training. That's what he does. He smells narcotics. He's not a patrol dog. He's not a comfort dog per se. He smells narcotics, and our SIU, our Special Investigation Unit, uses him on a daily basis to do narcotic sweeps when they're doing them. And Sky was also a rescue. We rescued him from animal control, and through his training, he's one of the top-notch narcotics dogs in the area. Training and equipment. We've completed our TASER 10 training, our transition. We've received our new firearms and our new optics, and as of today's date, it doesn't say it there, but as of today's date, everybody has been transitioned in the police department and has their new firearms and their new optics. Recruitment and growth. We hosted 2 recruiting events and hiring events in 2025 in March and August. We graduated 10 officers in June. We have 13 officers in field training right now, and we have 20 officers in the police academy that will graduate in June. Really, and I kind of want to highlight this is through the hard work of a lot of people. When we wrote this, we were at 6.1% vacancies, which I can tell you every other Hampton Roads jurisdiction is very jealous of that. But as of today's date, we're under 5% vacancies. We're working really, really hard towards zero. We're working really hard towards zero. We want our only vacancies to be, come July 1, new positions that we receive through the budget. That's that's all we want our vacancies to be. Y'all know Joan Turner. Joan is our community outreach coordinator, and in 2025, she coordinated over 230 events. Her goal was to do 100 when she got there, and she did over twice that. And I speak of Joan a lot when I talk, and I do that because she's just incredible. She does a heck of a job. She does a heck of a job. When I say she's one of the best hires that the police department ever made, she's one of the best hires that we've ever made. She's just incredible. Gets us out there with the community all the time. And I don't know how many events we were doing before Joan, but I can guarantee you that it wasn't 230. Our administrative command, that's animal care, animal control, and our communications, our dispatchers. Once again, the unsung heroes. It's 12 animal control/animal care people, and 27 communications operators. Animal care completed internal renovation of the shelter. They passed the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services inspection with 0 compliance issues. 0 compliance issues. That's unheard of. Conducted adoption events throughout the year, and they completed the largest equine and neglect investigation in our city's history. And I can tell you, because that's still that's ongoing also, but many thanks to what they did. If anybody knows anything about horses and how difficult it can be to deal with one horse, they dealt with over 60. Over 60, and it was thanks to our rescue groups throughout Hampton Roads that chipped in and helped, and a lot of volunteers and our animal control. That was something that was incredible to watch. Because I have a horse, and I know how hard one horse is, and for them to deal with 60 is just unheard of. I couldn't have done it. Our emergency communications operators, truly our first responders. They answer the phone first. They deal with the public first. They make sure that we get to where we're supposed to be. They hosted a web-based assessment for CALEA reaccreditation. They installed new radio hardware in the backup emergency communications center. And we continue to build out our new CAD and RMS, which is a multi-million-dollar project that's due to go online this year. And those that didn't know, our secondary communication backup center, I don't know if you know if we had that or not, but if something fails downtown and our communication center goes down, we have a completely operational backup center in the northern end of our city, up at Sector 2, that can take over the responsibilities so the general public still gets the service that they need. And that's, I know I might have took up a lot of your time, but I wanted to take this time to brag a little bit about what all these men and women are doing. I want to thank our community, because without them, we can't do this job. They give us that power to police. They cooperate with us. They're honest with us. They tell us when we're doing good. They tell us when we're doing bad. And without that partnership, we would not be nearly successful as we are. And to each and every one of you on the dais, we can't do it without y'all. Y'all are highly supportive of our police department. I don't say that because I'm here and you're there. I say it because it's the truth. Y'all really do look out for the police department, and you provide us with the things that we need. And for that, I'll close and say thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Before I turn it on, open it up for questions or comments, I know you said you took up too much time. If you want to take some more time and keep spitting out some more good news, I've got, we're going to have a short meeting. So go ahead and knock yourself out.
I am always willing to share good news with you, because I know eventually I'll have to share bad news with you. So I'll take them both.
Okay, with that being said, Council, have you got any questions or comments? Councilmember Wright.
Yes, Chief Bowie, I just wanted to thank you for the presentation and to thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
I feel extremely safe in the city. Your department does an exceptional job with community policing and community engagement. And I just wanted to say thank you for your service and all that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Council, any other questions or comments? Councilmember Bennett.
Yeah, I would also just like to thank all the men and women in the department for all that they do and the crimes that they are solving. And there are a lot of them out there that I know they're working, and it's not easy. But we do thank them for all the time and service they put in to keep our city safe. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Johnson.
And we can't say it enough, Chief Bowie. What these folks just said, I say the same. Our city is so fortunate. Whenever something comes up and there's a problem going forward, we never even think about it, because we know we've got you guys out there looking after us.
Thank you, sir.
So you are well appreciated.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Ward.
Yes, Chief Bowie, it's not bragging when you do a good job. You do a good job. You should be rewarded for doing your job that you do. So that's not bragging.
I appreciate
And another thing that, I'm impressed with you when you call. You got 1,400,
Yes, sir.
mental health calls. I can imagine how it was and how it went. You got to be trained for that. It's just not like any other call. And today I wanted to just, I thought about you today because Western Tidewater is going to have a crisis receiving center it's gonna be built, we
Yes,
did the
sir.
ground today, so it will help that they don't have to go over to Williamsburg or something like that. So
Yes, sir.
I thought about you today when that happened. I know it's much needed when you have somebody and you gotta have to be in the hospital and wait and all that type of stuff. So you're doing a great job, and I'm very impressed with, like I said, the mental illness part. Thank you,
sir.
now.
I appreciate it.
Council, any other questions or comments? Chief, I can just, I guess, reiterate what some of my fellow council members said, that the numbers don't lie, the numbers speak for themselves, but that's only half of the formula. I mean, the crime stats that you've been able, your results that you've been able to get through this year have been nothing short of phenomenal, and it doesn't happen by itself. Like I said, it comes through hard work, through training, through supervision, comes through the assistance and help of our citizens, just like you said. Our citizens make a huge difference, and I believe that our vacancies are down, and are down significantly because of the work environment. I think we have individuals that, I mean, if you want to go into law enforcement, it ain't hard to find a job. Just pick a city and decide who you want to go to work for. But one thing that we can continue to offer, and that you do offer, and that's not money. Money's part of it. Like I always say, money's always something, but it's never everything. So what we're offering, and what I believe you're offering, what I believe your department is offering, is a work environment that individuals can't get somewhere else. So keep up the good work. The numbers speak for themselves, but it's also the intangible things, the community events, and the other initiatives that you're doing to engage our community. So once again, congratulations, and look forward to some more good news.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
And I'll leave it.
You got all the time you want.
March 14th, we're having another hiring event. So anybody watching out there, if y'all know anybody who ever wanted to be a police officer, we're quickly running out of vacancies, but we're having a hiring event March 14th from 8 to 2, and you can knock out 75% of the hiring process in one day. And like I said, we're going to be at zero. We're going to be at zero here soon, so if you're interested, March 14th is your day. Come on out.
All
And I'll
right,
leave
thank you,
it
Chief.
at that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have no motions this evening. We'll now move to non-agenda speakers. Madam Clerk, do we have any non-agenda speakers? And if so, please explain the guidelines.
Yes, Mayor Duman, we do have non-agenda speakers this evening. Each person participating under the item of business entitled non-agenda speakers shall limit their remarks to the services, policies, and affairs of city government and shall be permitted 5 minutes for the purpose of presenting their matter. Speakers appearing before City Council will not be permitted to participate in the following activities: to campaign for public office, engage in personal attacks, promote private business ventures, or use profanity. Speakers who violate these rules will be declared out of order by the presiding officer and will immediately yield the floor and be seated. Our first non-agenda speaker this evening is Roy Johnson, 1877 White Marsh Road. Mr. Roy Johnson. Our next non-agenda speaker is William Webb, 810 Dunville Avenue, representing self regarding affordable housing.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and staff. Back in October, I stood before you to make a case for the city to focus more on affordable housing. Today, I return with the same urgency, but with more specific concerns. Too often, what is labeled as affordable simply does not align with what our residents, particularly those in the central core area of our city, can actually afford. Let's be honest, developers can sometimes bring proffers to the table claiming that their projects include affordable housing. Yet when we dig deeper, we find that these claims often fall short of meeting the true needs of our community. What is deemed affordable by a developer may be far from affordable for someone making the average wage in downtown. To highlight a quick example, let's talk about the Holland Glen proposal. That developer came before the Planning Commission last year claiming that their rezoning request was designed to address affordable housing. However, after the application had already made it through staff review and our Planning Commission, it was revealed that it failed to meet the very standards outlined by HUD as well as state guidelines. Unfortunately, this was not caught by staff in their report, which took the developer's claims at face value. It wasn't until I reached out directly to the planning director identifying these discrepancies that they became aware of the issue, and ultimately the applicant withdrew their request. I want to be clear, I don't fault the developer. He is known for building a very high quality product. Similarly, I don't fault his counsel, with whom we are all very familiar. He was bringing forward a new approach that we don't often see. I also do not fault our planning staff. They are working under the guidelines they have, and I know that they're committed to serving the city to the best of their ability. However, the city must ensure we are setting the right precedent when it comes to approving or recommending projects that include affordable housing components. We must ensure that any project claiming to offer affordability truly meets the mark, not just in appearance, but in real, tangible benefit for our residents. And that brings me to the UDO. Our affordable housing ordinance hasn't been updated in over a decade, and the world has changed considerably in that time. We need to ask ourselves, is our current ordinance doing enough to ensure that affordable housing projects actually meet the needs of Suffolk residents? Right now, the UDO allows council to define income guidelines and other incentives for developers. However, it's my understanding that these measures have never been fully implemented or updated to reflect current realities. The lack of clear standards for what constitutes affordable housing has left us vulnerable to developers pushing projects that do not serve the local population as they claim. The first step is for the city to take a more proactive approach to updating the UDO, especially when it comes to defining affordability. The city needs to set clear, enforceable standards for what qualifies as affordable based on local income data and specific geographic context. For example, the affordability of housing in northern Suffolk is vastly different from downtown. According to the 2024 census data, the median household income in northern Suffolk zip codes 23433, 23435, and 23436 is $151,507. That is 89.7% higher than the median income of zip code 23434, which covers most of central and downtown Suffolk, and comes in at only $79,877. What is affordable for residents in one part of the city is not necessarily affordable in another, and our zoning and development policies should reflect that. We need to be thoughtful about the different needs across our community and ensure that our UDO matches the realities on the ground. I've had conversations with many of our local builders, as I'm not opposed to all development, but we must ensure that any development makes sense for the community it is impacting. And it might be surprising for some of you to hear me say, we need the city to be a better partner with our developers, but we need to be better partners when they choose to focus on affordability. We need to expand our incentive programs beyond just density bonuses to tackle other cost drivers, such as the sky-high connection fees for water and sewer. But it's not enough to simply offer incentives. We must also have the right checks and balances in place to ensure that what is being built genuinely serves the people of Suffolk. Development, when done responsibly, can be beneficial to our community, but it must make sense for the project area in which it is being constructed. We cannot sacrifice the quality of life of our current residents in favor of attracting new residents. I'm asking tonight that the city take a closer look at the UDO and the standards for affordable housing. It's time to modernize our approach to introduce stricter controls and update our policies so that we aren't just relying on the words of developers, but holding them accountable to real standards that serve all our residents. In the meantime, I urge you to approach every affordable housing proposal with a critical eye. Developers will continue to come forward with claims of offering affordable housing, but we need to ensure that what they're offering actually meets the needs of our city. We cannot afford to make decisions in haste, only to realize too late that we failed to protect our most vulnerable communities. Let's act now, be proactive, and ensure that Suffolk's growth is both sustainable and equitable. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Our final speaker this evening is Dr. Andy Perotti, 2655 River Watch Drive, representing SELF, regarding the methodology for gathering data as it relates to development.
Good evening. I've been before you before, and I feel like just saying, hi, I'm back. I'm back. I'm Andy. Thank you for my being here. I'm Andy Perotti, 2365 Riverwatch Drive, Suffolk, Virginia. I know it sounds like a stuffy topic, but I couldn't have come at a better time. This was a great meeting between the chief and then the discussion on affordable housing. It fit kind of into what I was wanting to talk about, and that's how we establish what exists. Because all decisions that are made by this body have to start with what exists now. And what are we either bringing to the table, or what are we taking away, or what is being developed from what we have currently? When I used to teach research, it was one of these things where you say, well, that's pretty obvious. And I said, but it isn't inherently obvious, because the way we look at something, anything, comes from different eyes, different backgrounds, different perspectives. I want to applaud our chief of police. You hit all the notes, because what we tend to do in business and in municipalities is that we tend to focus so much on the money. And I'm not saying it's not important, and I like money, but it isn't the most important thing many times. And having a perspective and then a defining operational definition of what are we currently dealing with truly doesn't exist in many parts. I looked to the comp plan. I've looked at other documents to see if I could get a real flavor of what Suffolk is, what it does, and how it exists. And it's not totally clear. I've come here before and mentioned about how when we present to different boards, it's very hard to get a semblance of understanding, real understanding, to help the members of different committees make knowledgeable decisions based on what we see only in here. We don't see, for example, what the property looks like now. We don't see what it had been, what it was doing, and then we really don't see the impact that this will be projected to make or does make, or what will happen with current growth. And we never talk about what's already been accepted, what has already been signed off on, and how that's going to then impact the existing properties, changing the definition of what currently is for any certain project. So talking along the lines, I'm going to use you as an example, because this was really great. Some people might come into, and again, I don't know a lot of these people, so it's not about any person, but a person might come into a new job and look at an organization and saying, what are my numbers? What's my vacancy? What's this? What's our revenue? As opposed to saying, what are the people doing? How are the people functioning? Do they have the tools to know how to do their job? You never put people into a job they don't have either the resources to do or the knowledge to do. And that is almost heresy in a lot of places. And so when you've done and met some of that criteria and not admitted their feelings, because that is extremely important. When I used to be head of an ICU unit at Vanderbilt University, I had a 42-bed ICU. We had therapy dogs that were huge Rottweilers, and they said, therapy? They're giving my kids comfort and my family. They were the most mild animal, but there was an essence that they changed. They put them in crinoline tutus to bring them in to kind of change the exterior. Well, that's one example, but what about changing our exterior? Here's another one. We have a low-income housing project that's being built in my neighborhood right now. I came from Jersey. I lived and did college in downtown New York, the Bronx. We had police escorts to go to school. You know, it was a different neighborhood, a different world. But I came by that building and I went, I don't know how I'd feel as home there versus warehouse. I was so disappointed. We need low-income housing, but we need it to have a focus and a definition and a purpose. And I don't see that, and it's frustrating. One of the things, again, what do we have now? What is it, the people that we are, I hate to use the word targeting, it sounds dangerous, but, you know, focusing our efforts to do. And then what it is we can expect them to bring to the table, but what do we bring to the table? And what I saw was a building that did not reflect what some of the new standards are. For example, if you have low-income housing, it's sometimes a good thing to have on-site places where they have their own gardening, so they can supplement their income and grow their own fruits or vegetables or those kinds of things. But it's also the psychological benefits of what those activities bring and what they can feel like they're doing to encourage their own self-development. So what we're saying is, number one, know what you're dealing with. So you have to have a definition that is also validated, so that people have identifiable standards that they're meeting. Because I can say, I thought it was crap. Somebody else can say, oh no, this is wonderful, see all the brick? And we're looking at two different worlds. So after you've got your identification of what is, the developer or the research project or whatever, tell me what my request is going to do. Is it meeting a particular need? In other words, if we are going to be successful, do we know success when we see it? We're in a world right now where I don't know what success is in my own world if I saw it because it hasn't been defined for me. So when you have a job or a building, you have to say, what is it that means success? Not just to me or a builder, but to the people inhabiting it. Or
I'm
the
sorry,
people
ma'am.
working in it.
Ma'am, that concludes your time. You want to take a couple seconds and wrap it up?
Okay, well, I'm wrapping. So following all the way through, each of the steps is meaningless unless there is one last step that we don't have, and that's the validation, but also verification. There needs to be oversight. That when we identify what our goal is, the only way to get to it is make sure we're moving in that direction. And sometimes we don't have that oversight guidance to say, this is what is needed, it's not being done, or it's not being funded. And that's how you can kind of refresh the process, refresh the work, and get closer to what all could identify, including those end users, that they now have succeeded. That's enough for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the speakers, Mayor.
Okay, we'll now move to new business. Madam Clerk, do we have any additions to tonight's agenda?
The first addition to this evening's agenda is a motion to nominate and appoint Doretta Gilliam to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Councilmember Williams?
Move for approval.
A motion for approval from Councilmember Williams. Do we have a second? Councilmember Bennett?
Second.
We have a second from Councilmember Bennett. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
Motion is approved by a vote of 7-0. Our second item this evening would be a motion to approve a resolution appointing Kevin M. Hughes as the city manager of the city of Suffolk.
Councilmember Williams.
Move for approval.
A motion for approval from Councilmember Williams. Vice Mayor Ward.
Second.
A second from Vice Mayor Ward. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
Did you want to speak? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. I'll get you there in a sec. There we go. Councilmember Williams.
Well, good. I just wanted to know, would it be inappropriate just for a hand clap for making our city manager, the new city manager? Is that appropriate just to give him a...
I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but we just did it, so. Okay, we'll now move to announcements and comments. Do we have any announcements from our communications department? How about that?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, and City Manager Kevin Hughes. Let me be the first to congratulate you. We're going to kick off tonight's announcements with exciting news from the Economic Development Department, having hosted 2 ribbon cuttings since our last meeting. First, the Yoga Room cut the ribbon on February 22nd at 1238 Holland Road. They rolled out the welcome mat, this with a weekend of open houses, free yoga classes, and hands-on tours of their new space. Their mission, an inclusive haven for every person and every body. Check schedules, grab memberships, or connect at theyogaroom757.com or at theyogaroom757 on social. And the real estate group expanded into Hampton Roads with their ribbon cutting on February 23rd. Their new Suffolk office puts expert agents and top-tier services right in our backyard for residents and businesses alike. In exciting news from the Western Tidewater Community Service Board, Executive Director Brandon Rogers hosted a ceremonial groundbreaking for their modernization and expansion of the Haven Treatment Campus located on Godwin Boulevard. Deputy Secretary of Health and Human Services, Ms. Tony Blue, was also present for remarks. The renovation and expansion will allow the Community Service Board to continue provisions of 24 hours per day walk-in urgent behavioral health care at the location and add 16 residential community crisis stabilization beds where individuals in our local community can get compassionate, comprehensive care for up to 14 days at a time in a non-hospital setting. Additionally, treatment spaces will be expanded by over 4,000 square feet to support music and art therapy, as well as health and wellness activities. The CSB recognized the contributions and support from the City of Suffolk and the Commonwealth as invaluable to ensuring that these services are available to all of the citizens in the Western Tidewater area. They hope to continue to move forward together with the communities that they serve. And big cheers to Suffolk Public Library's own Kirsten Winslow and Emma Daughtry. They've been selected for the exclusive 2026 cohort of the Virginia Library Leadership Academy, landing 2 of the just 22 spots from over 85 applicants. Their leadership journey starts with a 3-day in-person workshop, followed by a year-long adventure in development, mentorship, and learning, all to sharpen their skills as a top-shelf library with top-shelf library innovators and storytellers. For more information, visit vla.org/vala. Spring into fun with Suffolk's Parks and Rec extravaganza on Saturday, March 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. At Bennett's Creek Park, families will love the petting zoo, hands-on crafts, upbeat music, and a grand visit from the one and only Peter Cottontail. Kids get 4 chances to hunt for treat-filled eggs at 11:45, 12:15, 12:45, and 1:15. So bring your baskets and hop on over. For more information, visit SuffolkParksandRec.com. And Suffolk Tourism has a killer lineup for the 12th annual Suffolk Virginia Authors Festival, starting none other than Joe Kenda, the legendary detective who solved over 300 homicides and now unmasks true crime on TV. Catch him headlining on Saturday, March 14th from 1 to 5 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn, Suffolk Riverfront. This free public event remains a can't-miss for book lovers and writers, packed with author readings, panel discussions, signings, and meet and greets. Over 75 best-selling authors spanned mystery, suspense, thrillers, romance, and beyond, perfect for anyone who loves a good plot twist. Kenda kicks off things with an in-depth interview by broadcast journalist Carrie Fury, where he'll share his secrets to solving the unsolvable, followed by book sales and signings. Get all the details and the full author list at SuffolkVAAuthorSfestival.com or follow at Suffolk VA Authors Festival on Facebook. Keep Suffolk Beautiful is looking for volunteers to lend a hand to help keep our marsh grass green. Join us at the St. Patrick's Day River Cleanup on Saturday, March 14th from 9 a.m. to noon and discover that the true treasure at the end of the rainbow isn't gold, it's a cleaner, greener Suffolk. Volunteers of all ages and abilities are welcome. The cleanup begins at Constance Wharf Park in Marina with supplies and registration available on site. And if you've got a canoe or kayak, you're in luck. Bring it along for some fun on the water. To learn more, visit suffolkva.us. And lastly, on your screen are the various ways that residents can stay connected to the City of Suffolk. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. We'll now move on to announcements from City Council. Councilmember Wright. Hold on, let me get you. Here we go.
Good evening. The first thing I wanted to share is that in Sleepy Hollow Borough, I am hosting a seniors chat and design event on April 11th. Registration is open for that event. It is for seniors ages 55 and older. In the Sleepy Hollow Borough, it's an opportunity to sit, chat with me, and do some floral design. I also want to thank our speakers who came out today. I think that affordable housing is a very good topic that we do need to take a better look at, and also the topic of how we establish what exists. Data is very important. I want to congratulate our city manager, Mr. Kevin Hughes, on his appointment as our city manager. And March is Women's History Month. And so I want to take an opportunity to acknowledge Women's History Month and National Agricultural Month. So Suffolk has a strong agricultural heritage, and it's important to recognize the people whose hard work ensures food makes it from the field to our tables. So I greatly appreciate the presentation earlier and the acknowledgement that it is National Agricultural Month. And during Women's History Month, it is also a good time to recognize some of the women who have helped shape leadership in our city. So women like former Mayor Linda Johnson, which is a Sleepy Hollow Borough person, former council member Marion B. Rogers, which is also Sleepy Hollow Borough, and my colleague Shelley Butler Barlow was actually the first woman to serve in Chuckatuck and who also contributes to our agricultural community. So these women have helped pave the way for women in leadership here in the city of Suffolk, and their service and dedication to our community deserve to be recognized. So happy Women's Leadership Month. And my last thing I want to say is a quote: "In a world where you can be anything, choose to be kind." Good night.
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I would like again to congratulate our new city manager, Kevin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Also want to take this opportunity to thank Deputy City Manager Aziz Felder, Interim Deputy City Manager Gary Jones, and staff for providing the citizens of the Wellerville Borough with an overview of each department that was in attendance at the town hall meeting. Staff did an awesome job, and the town hall meeting was very informative. Special thanks to the citizens of the north end of the Wellerville Borough who came out to the town hall meeting on Thursday, February the 26th, in spite of the inclement weather. We had a great turnout. The citizens showed up and were able to hear about the ongoing projects as well as the completed ones. The community engagement during the question and answer period was great and welcoming. I like also to thank the constitutional officers that was in attendance, the Commonwealth Attorney, Narendra Ples, our Sheriff David Miles, and our Treasurer Andrew Owens for attending the event. And our Vice Mayor was in attendance also. My prayers are with the family of Mr. Roshan Holland and his family for their loss and the loss of his sisters. Also, my condolences to the family of Stephen Perry, known as Lil Steve. He was a great person and will truly be missed. My word for the month of March is reciprocity, and it's the practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges granted by one country or organization to another. And with that, one other small thing, Mr. Mayor. I would like to take this opportunity to remind the citizens in the Wellerville Borough that live out in the rural area that I will be having a town hall meeting on March the 19th, 2026 at 6 p.m. It's going to be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and it's going to be at the Curtis R. Milltill Senior Rec Center, 132 Robinson Street in Wellerville. Please come out if you're available. If you missed the town hall meeting last week, please try to attend the town hall meeting on, again, March the 19th, and that's going to be at the Curtis R. Milltill Senior Rec Center. And I thank you, and good night.
Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one small piece of business that I was going to try to get on new business, and I didn't. But At our last meeting, we had a citizen come and speak to us about concerns over the use of vacant warehouse facilities in the city of Suffolk for use as detention centers by the federal government and ICE. And had several conversations about that, and I know there are limits to what we can and can't do, but what I would like to request is for the city manager, with the help of the city attorney, to look at what options we may have to, at least as a council, express our feelings about this use of properties in the city of Suffolk, and to present something to us at our next meeting on the 18th. And again, I want all council members to weigh in, and I just feel like I've had a lot of responses from folks in the community. I have my own opinions of this, and I know there's restraints on what we can and can't do, but I would like, as a council, for us to make some sort of a formal statement, and I'd like to find out how we can do that. So that's my new business under comments. Moving on to easier things, congratulations, Kevin. Glad that we're to this point after all the slogging along. So glad to have you on board and look forward to working with you. Thank you for the shout out from across the dais over there. I appreciate it. National Agriculture Month is really important to me. This is also the International Year of the Woman Farmer, which is getting some publicity. It's the whole year. It's not just a month. But want to thank everyone for their attention tonight for the agriculture presentation. And someone said it during one of the presentations that it's something that is important every day. I mean, if you're eating and wearing clothes and you're not thirsty, you have agriculture to thank for that. So I know I'm always talking about it, but it's important for all of us. So thanks again for the attention. Thank you for everyone that we had the good presentation that we had during our meeting tonight. Way back in work session, I think the commercial stable change in the ordinances is a good thing, and we're going to get a public hearing about that next time, but that kind of ties in with agriculture. And I'll save and talk about Women's History Month on the 18th, so we'll leave that off until then. With that, we'll say, everybody go forth and march forth and do good things. Good night.
Councilmember Bennett.
First, I would like to say thanks for all the speakers tonight, and a lot of good information, and I do appreciate everyone coming out, participating, and the farmers. I think that presentation that give us a good idea of what farming is all about and all the good stuff that they really produce to help our lives every day. So again, I want to thank them very much for that. Also, I would like to say that I attended a nonprofit called Feed My People in Wheelerville this past Saturday, and Dr. Lawrence, believe it or not, it was an outstanding affair, and it was in the gym at the Military Center, Rec Center, and it was just like a store where you could go in and shop. And I'm telling you, people were in there shopping just like they was at the supermarket, and it was very, very productive. And she is outgrowing where she's located, and she's looking to, if anyone knows of a building that she could get to help put her supplies in to help feed the people, she would really appreciate reaching out to her or let her know that she really needs some help with trying to find a larger place that she can store stuff and for feeding her people, feeding our people. So I want to thank her very much for that and what she's doing in the community to help people. And really, it's a lot of people are suffering right now, and it's not easy. And a lot of people need help. So I think that people now that are reaching out trying to help the less fortunate, it's just great that they are taking their time and energy to try to do that. So again, I want to thank her very much for what she's doing in that area. Also, I want to say that, Kevin, I didn't know, but anyway, congratulations to you as well as after we start the congratulations. So I guess we might as well continue it on. Congratulations to you, and we're looking forward to working together and moving the city forward. We got a lot of challenges ahead, but I'm sure you're ready to step in and do whatever you can to try to get our city to continue to move forward. Also, Mr. Manager, got a call from the churches there on National Parkway and some of the residents there. The ditches in Driver area from National River High School down to Driver, they're just about flooding into the yards, some down there just about. So they're asking me about trying to get the ditches clean in that area to try to help them with the drainage. So that's from National River High School down to the Driver on National Parkway. Also, we have this coming Saturday. Don't forget to turn your clocks ahead, because time is changing, and so you won't be late getting to church Sunday morning. So please move your clocks ahead Saturday night, and you lose that hour that you gained a few months ago. So again, we're looking forward to the change in the spring. The day was a beautiful spring day, I think. I mean, it was really nice, and it's enjoyable. So I know the people, the farmers and the grass cutters and all that is happy. So we are looking forward to all that coming to be a part of us as well. And with that, I would say good night. I thought we were going to be out by 7:30, but it looked
Councilman Johnson?
Pretty quick. Congratulations, Kevin. We are happy to have you on board and looking forward to all the great things we're going to do. I'm going to keep it brief. The Ag Month, of course, I totally support our ag community. Everyone knows that, and I'm just happy that we have an ag committee here that's helping us, sending us in the direction we want to go in. Julia, thank you for heading up our team here. We're so happy to have you, and I look forward to the future. I think Suffolk is truly an agricultural gem. And, I'm sorry? Go ahead. All right. Mr. Webb and others that are speaking about affordable housing, thank you. This is something we talk about all the time, but we don't really talk about it all the time. Let's keep on talking about it, because we need affordable housing, and we need real affordable housing. So we really appreciate the public and the people of the city bringing it to our attention and keep reminding us. It's something we're all going to be working toward as we move further along. One more thing, and I'm going to quit. What I really wanted to say tonight basically was, be a good neighbor. If there was ever a time that we needed to be good neighbors, this is the time. Our city has changed, and there's a lot of different and new people here, and a lot of those people now are military. And the military really needs us right now. Think about the families that are out on the boats, the people in the military that are out, people that are having hard times. Our military community needs our support, and they need to be our friends. So just remember your neighbors. Don't forget, there's so many people around that just need a kind word. So make that your motto. Thank you.
Councilmember Bennett?
Yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention, was very important to me. We just had arts on the Phoenix Bank presentation this week, and it's loaned to the art group. It's not a permanent mirror that's on the Phoenix Bank. So people to know, I think some people probably thought it was a permanent mirror, but it's not. It's just a temporary mirror that's there now. And but I'm sure Mr. Gary Jones is working on getting some permanent put up there, but it's letting the people know what it's going to look like, close to what it's going to look like in the future. And I'm sorry, that's what I wanted to mention, because that was very important to me.
Vice Mayor Ward?
Yes, sir, I want to just really mention about the Western Tidewater event today. Very enlightening, and I really enjoyed it. Wasn't supposed to be, but it happened that I was there. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Miss Mary Johnson. She was the keynote speaker, and what she dealt with over the years and how she was so concerned with the mental illness that she needed help, but she got the help she needed, and her story is amazing. Just to hear her talk about things she had to go through with the mental illness. Councilman Leotis Williams, you always have a good town hall meeting. Like you said, it's well attended, and I really enjoyed it, and I listened to the concerns of the community. And one of the true things that when I get beat up is that mostly every person that spoke for the department head, one of the things they was concerned about sidewalks. So I laugh. So I'm not that far off. So people say they tired of it.
Sidewalks and whatever.
That's all they talked about. So I was there, and it was very interesting to see the people, the way they feel about that. And I really enjoyed your town hall meetings, and with the attendance, and also what the people talk about, and I listen to it. So I'm looking forward to the next one. And like I said, I'll probably be at the one in Whaleville, the center. So with that, I'll say God bless.
All right, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. I attended a YMCA event over in Norfolk. It was kind of a regional event, Hampton Roads event, just going over basically what they've accomplished over the last year. And for, I guess, any of our citizens that live in Suffolk, you know, the YMCA does have a fairly significant presence in our city, and I want to thank them for everything that they've done to improve the lives of a lot of our citizens and provide amenities they may not be able to get someplace else. Billy Corey Real Estate, sold his firm to Real Estate Group. We had a little photo shot there, but Billy's going to stay there, and he's really an icon of our community and a past Suffolk First citizen, so I want to congratulate him on his sale and semi-retirement. Suffolk Sister Cities had an event at the Center for Cultural Arts on the 24th. It was their 37th annual Young Artists, Authors, and Musicians Award, Awards and Showcase, and they have a ceremony there, great venue. I see Tom back here in the back. Once again, Mr. Yanuzzi asked the audience how many of you raise your hand if it's the first time you've been here. And these were Suffolk students and Suffolk residents, and I figured we might see a couple of hands. Well, there was a lot of hands that went up. So it's amazing how many of our citizens really don't know what we have to offer at the center. So the more events we have like that, the more things that we can host there, the better off it's going to be. All the way around, we had about 60 students from all Suffolk high schools and a couple of middle school students, and they competed in different categories, but it was very well attended. All the parents were there. I want to thank the volunteers, the teachers, Suffolk Sister Cities, and anyone who had anything to do with that event. I've had the good fortune of being able to do the announcing of the award recipients since I became mayor so I've been doing that for 5 years, but also attended those for about 10. So I have seen the event grow, and it's, once again, I want to thank Mr. Yanuzzi and Cultural Arts Center for hosting that event. Temple Bethel had a Black History Gala honoring armed service veterans, and our own Ebony Wright was there being honored, and I can't remember who else. I think Councilman Bennett was there. Councilman Bennett? No? Just you, me? Oh, Vice Mayor Ward? Yeah?
Yeah, I came late.
Came late?
Yeah, but I was there.
Okay, still counts. He was there. Thank you for that. And there were a lot of folks there. Also, we had some constitutional officers. Councilmember Bennett alluded to Phoenix Bank, and Vice Mayor was there along with Councilmember Williams for the Phoenix Bank, not only the murals on the side, but everything that's going on that corridor. You know, the landscape, the lights, the Arts District, the Phoenix Bank. I mean, that is one of the gateways into our city. We're going to have a little park right there. I'm excited for this to move forward, and I'm sure Gary's going to get us there with deliberative speed, under budget. There we go, thumbs up. Western Tidewater Community Services Board, the groundbreaking, that was something we approved about 5 years ago, which would allow them, I think, for about 17 beds, and that's going to be a 24/7 deal. It's going to help immensely with our law enforcement, first responders, having a place for individuals to go, and that's another thing that a lot of our citizens don't know is available. It's basically an emergency room for behavioral health. It's a crisis receiving center, and a lot of folks don't know it's there, but they have expanded so much. They're up to 800 employees, soon to be 900. So that's how expansive the Community Service Board is. I want to thank them for everything they're doing. We had a presentation this evening by Chief Bowie in regards to our Suffolk Police Department, their annual report, and we got a bunch of statistics and what have you. I won't go over there, but it's all good news reading. If you didn't see the presentation, please go online and take a look at it. It's the 2025 Suffolk Police Department Annual Report. Thank you for everything that you do, everything your personnel do, and we are the city we are to a large extent due to that. I think our citizens feel safe in our city, and I think a lot of folks realize that. In addition to the other benefits and the other attractions we have, having a reputation for being a safe city is certainly one of the major ones. I want to congratulate Mr. Hughes for his official appointment as city manager. It was a unanimous vote. Kevin brings over 20 years of experience to the job and an immeasurable amount of institutional knowledge. And in Suffolk, that's huge. 430 miles of diversity, geographical diversity, demographic diversity, financial diversity. It's not an easy place to learn. It's not like going from one city to another city. Kevin's got that institutional knowledge. In addition to that, he has served admirably as our interim for 6 to 7 months. And it's not just about me. He's got 8 bosses to deal with, so God bless him. I think city manager's job is one of the toughest jobs. Everybody out there has actually ever had a job, especially folks in the military. You get a little chain of command. Boy, it's hard to have 8 commanders to answer to all at the same time. You know, you take care of one, and then another one's asking you the door, why'd you do that? Well, and you get through that one, and there's somebody else wanting to tell you what to do or to make a suggestion. So it is indeed a tough job. That in addition to, dealing with the public and dealing with our regional partners, and we have a lot of regional partners, and Kevin is very well respected throughout the Hampton Roads region, having, gone to regional meetings and what have you and interacting with mayors of all the Southampton Roads city over the last 5 years plus. I can tell you the city of Suffolk will be very well represented wherever Kevin is. I think I met Kevin about 17 years ago, something like that. He was like 12 years old. I don't know. But 17 years ago, when Mr. Barlow picked up the phone and called me one day and asked me if I wanted to be on the Economic Development Authority. So your father-in-law is responsible for this. He's the one who got me started. Yeah. But he's a great guy anyhow. Don't hold it against him. He's one of the best. Kevin was the director of economic development at the time. And in short order, as everybody probably knows, I've been in sales for over half a century. And one thing I know about sales, a good salesman can kind of sell anything to anybody, but the best salesmen are the ones that believe in their product. If you can believe in your product, then it's not just selling a product. You've got your heart in it. And that's one thing I noticed about Kevin. Right off. I'm not trying to blow you up. It's truth. And anybody knows me, I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. But he loved his product. His product was the city of Suffolk. And that attitude really contributes so much to your ability to succeed. And in this case, I think it's going to serve us well moving forward. Moving forward, I am more than confident that Kevin, along with his two trusted amigos over there, Mr. Gary Jones and Mr. Felder, we have a senior management team that I don't think anybody would be able to surpass in any city. I mean, I wouldn't trade any one of those three guys for anybody else that I've run into. They have one thing in common: to serve the citizens. They work together to serve the citizens. We have a staff below them. We have a senior staff below them that is just as committed, and we have employees that are committed. So I am elated that for the next 2 years, 9 months, and 5 days, I will be working with you to do whatever we can, whenever we can, to benefit this great city and to serve our citizens. So with that being said, congratulations again, and we will move forward to do what we need to do. And with that, I'll move to my quote of the night, and I was kind of struggling for a quote for tonight, to be honest with you, and right after I thought I had a pretty good one picked out, somebody sent me a suggestion maybe to do another one, since it was Women's History Month. So I said, yeah, send it and I'll take a look at it. I actually didn't say send it and take a look at it. She's like radar on MASH. She'd already sent it. Told me to take a look at it. And as soon as I looked at it, I said, man, this is awesome. This is perfect. But this also goes along with observance of Women's History Month, and that's a quote from the late United States Supreme Court Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which I'm sure doesn't need any introduction. And that quote is, "Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you." And with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Councilmember Williams.
So move.
A motion for adjournment, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Wright.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Wright. Is there any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote. I think we're missing somebody.
The motion is approved by a vote of 6-0.
This meeting stands adjourned. Who am I missing? 6-0. Should be 7. Who did we miss?